remained positive, and opinion polls showed that support for the FTA was pretty much maintained. So I think that has enabled us to put the beef crisis, we hope, behind us for good. And I think the importance of the FTA for Koreans has only been reinforced by the damaging effects of the global financial crisis. So it's still possible that the Korean National Assembly will ratify the FTA in the next few months, which I hope it will be the case. Now, Koreans, of course, are worried about the possibility that they'll proceed with FTA ratification without any certainty about what the U.S. Congress is going to do. Most Americans have never heard of the KORUS FTA, but I think everyone in Korea knows that President-elect Obama has expressed strong reservations about it because of the huge imbalance in automobile trade. And with the American car industry's very survival at stake, this is an issue that will probably be hard to resolve in the near term. But I hope that the new administration will look for a way to bring the KORUS FTA into effect at an early point in 2009, both for the huge economic benefits it will bring and for its strategic importance. I think it would be a very serious blow to President Lee and to our alliance if we were to walk away from the KORUS FTA. Our reliability as a partner would be questioned, and President Lee would be less able politically to respond to U.S. requests for support in future crises. Korea would still move ahead with FTAs with the European Union, Canada, Australia, and maybe even with China and Japan, thereby reducing U.S. opportunities to sell and invest in the Korean market and weakening our political standing in the region. We'd also forfeit the strong leverage that the KORUS FTA provides to induce the Chinese and the Japanese to open their markets and end their discriminatory trade practices. So for all these reasons, it's in our interest to find a way to bring the FTA to a vote in the Congress next year. And even with the Democrats' increased majorities in the House and Senate, the experts in the business coalition tell me that they think bipartisan majorities can be found in both houses once members understand how much the FTA will boost exports and increase jobs in all 50 states, which would be a good antidote to the current crisis. But it's no secret to say that the congressional leadership is not likely to put the FTA on the agenda without some measures to address concerns about automobiles. Now, I fully acknowledge that Korea did agree to FTA provisions that address most of U.S. car makers' traditional concerns about barriers to foreign auto imports, tariffs, discriminatory taxes, and standards. But still, it's only realistic to assume that some kind of fix on autos is going to be needed to achieve ratification. My impression is that President-elect's Asian experts have been careful to avoid the word renegotiation, but some additional negotiation or supplementary understandings to address concerns about non-tariff barriers may be the only way to get the FTA approved. So I'd urge Koreans to keep an open mind about this by showing the same sort of flexibility that the United States showed on beef after the candlelight vigils began. Given the larger benefits the FTA will bring, accommodating the U.S. on autos may be a price that is well worth paying. So the challenges I've just described, as well as longer-term regional and global challenges that our two countries will face, certainly guarantee that the U.S. and Korea will need to be partners far into the future. But I also learned in my 3 years as ambassador that what makes the U.S.-Korea relationship truly enduring and very special are the extraordinarily close ties that exist between the Korean and American people. As seen in the fact that more than 100,000 Korean students study every year in the U.S., that the majority of Korean college professors have their PhDs from American universities. It's seen in the dozens of Korean-American friendship organizations, joint veterans groups, a high number of Rotary Club members in Korea. Hundreds of thousands of Koreans travel each year to the U.S. For business or for vacation or to visit relatives from the nearly 2 million Korean Americans who live here. And I think temperamentally, Koreans and Americans are very similar. Very honest and direct, devoted to family, devoted to education, with a kind of can-do spirit, and certainly proud of their country's history and its achievements. So strengthening personal ties is an important mission of any U.S. ambassador, and I was very pleased to have done my part, in particular by helping to bring about Korea's admission into the U.S. visa waiver program, which took effect just 2 weeks ago. And I also made it one of my highest priorities to reach out to the Korean public. My dozens, I think nearly 200 encounters with students, civic groups, NGOs, business audiences around the country, I think not only helped to dispel some misunderstandings about U.S. policy, but also help remind people of the many things that Koreans and Americans have in common. And having the chance to play the drums with Korean student rock bands and jazz ensembles, while it certainly didn't impress the music critics, it did help to demystify the image of the American ambassador among younger Koreans. And my wife Lisa, professional jewelry designer, I think had a similar effect through her active involvement with the creative arts community, giving lectures to university students and participating in solo and group exhibitions. Unfortunately, Americans know far less about Korea than they should, and too few Americans study and travel in Korea compared to the record numbers of Koreans that come this way. And it's depressing that many Americans don't even know that the TV in their living room or the cell phone in their pockets was made in Korea, much less the fact that Korea sent more troops to Iraq than any U.S. ally other than the British. When I had the privilege of speaking across the U.S. On the annual KEI Ambassadors Dialogue, I sometimes got the impression that Korea is one of the best kept secrets in the world. But I'd say in conclusion that my wife Lisa and I were truly charmed by Korea, and we feel fortunate to have been posted in that dynamic country for the past 3 years. All of our personal guests, our friends and family members who came to visit, went home very surprised by what they discovered there. A beautiful, fascinating, dynamic country with a remarkable blend of tradition and modernity in art, architecture, science, culture, and of course food. So I hope that the secret gets out and that an increasing number of Americans will discover Korea in the coming years. And I certainly hope that the new U.S. administration will give Korea the attention that it deserves as one of our most important and valuable allies. So thank you very much.
Well, we're going to open this up for some questions, and we've got our remote mics here, and if for some chance you cannot hear well, let me know, and I've got a reserve mic in my hand that we'll use, but we're going to try this for now. I'm going to open up, because I've got control of the mic, with the first question, and then we'll turn it over to you, the audience. Richard, you get the second question. I saw your little two fingers come up, and Eric, number 3. Then I'll moderate from there. Sandy, thank you very much for that presentation. You took us through 3 challenges that you faced there. One of the ones that I'd like to go back and now that you've finished your service in government, can step back a little bit and take an objective look at one of those, and let's take a look at the nuclear issue just slightly. If you talk about your assessment of the level of coordination between the United States, and South Korea, whether that was sufficient or was it the right amount at the official level, but perhaps lacking from a public perception within Korea. What's your sense of how well that was done, or is there an area that you might advised the Obama administration to approve upon?
Well, I think overall the consultations were pretty thorough, and some of it was actually less visible than the occasions when Chris Hill would make his grand entries into Seoul with 200 journalists surrounding him every step of the way.